Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Season of Heathens, where I share my experiences and opinions from my time in a fundamentalist Christian cult. Today we're talking about fundies and MLMs. In my mind, they are both so completely intertwined that I often can't think of one without the other. One of my favorite things to do is to play anti-MLM videos on YouTube while I'm getting ready for work or driving in my car. Shout out to one of my favorite creators, Hannah Alonzo. I'll put a link to her channel in the description box. Her channel is a great place to learn about MLM cult tactics and the mental gymnastics their members go through to justify their beliefs. Sound familiar? I highly recommend her MLM Horror Stories playlist if you need something to binge watch. The reason why it's one of my favorite topics is because A, I got sucked into a few of them, selling and buying, when I was fundified, and 2, the modus operandi of both organizations are remarkably similar in how they attract members, guilt them into staying, isolate them from friends and family, and suck them emotionally and financially dry. I firmly believe MLMs are just as much as a cult as the Fundie Church. They're just slightly more honest about how their god is money. Like willful ignorance and bigotry, MLMs are rampant in the Fundie Church. Everybody was shilling some magic oil, makeup, supplements, jewelry, or whatever. You'd better have a good reason not to go to every damn party, otherwise you'd risk your social standing, and church was the only acceptable way to socialize. I remember being relieved one time that I had the excuse of declining an invite, only because I was heavily pregnant at the time. The first Fundie church I went to, we were poor. This was during a time when I homeschooled the kids and my ex was unemployed. Our grocery budget was $100 a month for 2 adults, 2 kids, and a baby. Thank goodness for WIC. These were times when I went dumpster diving with a friend in the middle of winter to supplement our food. We saw it as a game at the time, sticking it to the man for throwing out perfectly good food. Waste not, want not. We even ran into missionary friends doing the same thing. I don't remember why we didn't have food stamps at the time. Either we didn't qualify due to my ex's disability and military pension, or it was interpreted by the men of the church as an inability for my ex to provide for his family. I don't know. There were so many MLMs in the church. 31, Paparazzi, doTERRA, Mary Kay, Usborne, It Works, Young Living, Norwex, Nail Jam, Avon, Pampered Chef, the list goes on. They were everywhere, and it all cost an arm and a leg. Awkward launch parties, with the hostess mumbling about her amazing business opportunity and her upline standing in the back with a manic smile and nodding emphatically to everything. It was an hour and a half of politely pretending to listen while being bored to tears. The better ones at least had food and drinks, but no alcohol, of course. It was a God-ordained business opportunity, after all, no fun allowed. This was probably why there was never a pure romance party, since orgasms are for heathens, apparently. I remember after we moved, my ex was at work, and the kids and I were sitting in an empty house waiting for our household goods to arrive. I was so lonely. I missed my church friends and only had minimal interactions from the 1 or 2 people I was actually close with aside from my family. One day, I got a call from a church acquaintance, and I was ecstatic. She asked me how I was doing, how she missed me and the kids. I was so touched that she had reached out. That's when she launched into her crazy rap spiel from It Works, and I realized her reason for calling wasn't because she cared. I don't remember what I said, probably some vague statement about how I'd look into it or ask my husband, and she ended the call. I was completely deflated. Within half an hour, another church lady texted me. She didn't waste any time talking about It Works and its amazing opportunity to help me lose weight, as I had given birth a few months before. Again, I declined. Then I received another text from a different lady, one who is usually standoffish to me at church. She never contacted me, so why would she? Oh, It Works. By then, I was more than a little annoyed. I found out later on Facebook that they were all at some convention, and I assumed it was the part where they were asked to cold call anyone on their contacts. That was the only time any of these ladies reached out to me or even interacted with me. They made it abundantly clear that my only worth was my money. It was better in my second, smaller church after we moved. Everyone else was broke too, and actually had the social awareness not to pressure each other for sales. It also helped that the pastor and his wife believed that selling things on church property for personal gain was a big no-no. We had a few MLM parties, one of them Mary Kay if I remember correctly, but I'm thankful it soon fizzled out. It's amazing to me how the church can wink an eye at this predatory behavior, but I shouldn't be surprised really. It's all the same song and dance recruitment tactics, guilt, mind control, and classicism that they use to gain members. Birds of a feather. Something else I noticed was the women with downlines perceived themselves as successful and had a certain air of superiority. They were the ultimate Proverbs 31 woman in their minds. You're not good enough to exchange more than a hi or hello with after services, but please give me what little money you have so I can rank up. Also, you're ugly and fat and you need my amazing products. It's like a biblical loophole or something. It was pounded into our heads that women belonged at home to serve their families. I wonder how many hours these women spent on their phones, on Facebook, at craft fairs, at conventions, at grocery stores, and at church, shilling their crap. Sure, they didn't have a traditional office job, but it was still work, and at what cost? Some of them had literal rooms full of product that just sat gathering dust. I was able to buy 31 products at a significant discount just so the lady could have some room in her basement. A side note, I wonder how many of them actually paid their taxes from any money they earned. The world may never know. I had a brief fling with shilling essential oils with a now defunct company. I bought table decor, made little custom mints to hand out with my info on them, a custom shirt for me to wear, business cards, and even created a PowerPoint movie to be shown on a giant screen at a craft fair. All told, I spent over $500 buying the largest oil selling kit, including the supplies and decor for my table. I made exactly one sale, a respiratory blend, to a woman in a wheelchair concerned about her health problems. Her husband was rightly skeptical and annoyed at the bullshit claims I was spouting. I made an entire $11 from that sale, and I don't think I ever cashed it out. I dropped from the company soon after. I'm sick to my stomach and mortified when I remember that lady. She was looking for hope and reprieve from her symptoms that she dealt with daily. I believed in my product at the time, sure, but that didn't make it any better. I wish her well, and if I could, I would tell her I'm sorry. Oils don't fix anything. While I do use them currently for aromatherapy from time to time, I recognize that their capabilities are limited to smelling good. That's it. I got sucked into the cult for many reasons, the main ones being fear of the afterlife and feeling like a failure and a disappointment in this life. We're all struggling with something, whether it's money, family, health, love, faith, etc. We're searching for something, some kind of hope to keep going, hope that things get better, or maybe even just hope of an actual afterlife. Nobody wants their life to be meaningless. Specifically, preying on a vulnerable population to further your own agenda is beyond the pale. This is why fundamentalist churches and MLMs often go hand in hand because, at their core, they're both scammers selling things. One is selling you peace of mind, the other sells prosperity and health. As I've heard many anti-MLM creators say, you are the product. Your only purpose is to make other people richer while you scrape and scramble trying to get by, while the higher-ups dangle the ever-moving carrot in front of you. It's no different in the cult. Here's the close. Here's the words you say. Give us our 10% tithe, more if preaching is especially fiery and guilt-trippy. Don't stand out, just blend in so you'll be accepted. Individuality is not an option. To step outside of these parameters means hell and shunning. As I see more and more people becoming aware of the nature of MLMs, I have hope that they'll eventually be a thing of the past, but I know better. As long as there's money to be made, there will be scammers, and as long as people are struggling, there will be false promises of relief and prosperity and a loving God that will wipe away the tears from your eyes after you die, but not a moment before because you're a worthless, sinning piece of trash. You are the product. Your fear is the currency. That's all for today. I hope you learned something new or that it validated your own experiences with religious abuse. Shout out to the FundieSnarkUncensored sub on Reddit. All things I was secretly thinking deep inside when I was in the fog were said out loud by people who had lived it themselves or who had just enjoyed snarking on the general hypocrisy, and there is a lot. If you enjoyed my content and would like to hear more, please like and subscribe. It helps me reach viewers who could be helped by hearing my story. Speaking truth is the first step to healing. Your story is my story and those of countless others. If you would like to share yours, email me at SeasonofHeathens@gmail.com. All submissions are kept anonymous until otherwise requested and may be shared on my channel. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next time.